Oh my gosh, I love the new introduction. Happy New Year to all. We've got so much to cover today. Looking forward to it. Welcome back to Nursing Matters, the podcast dedicated to empowering nurses at every stage of their career journey. I'm Christina, and whether you're clocking in for your next shift, commuting home after a long day, or taking a well-deserved break, I'm glad you're here. Nursing Matters is where we tackle the real issues facing nursing professionals today, from career advancement and leadership development to industry trends and professional growth. This is your space for honest conversations, practical advice, and the tools you need to take control of your nursing career. So happy 2026. I hope you and your families enjoyed the holiday season. So I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. So for New Year's Eve this year, it was all about seeing Vecna and the Mind Flayer get what was coming to them. Oh my gosh. If you're a Stranger Things fan, let me know what you thought of the finale. Don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can leave a comment wherever you're listening. Speaking of reaching out, I want to hear your story. If you've navigated a major career transition, overcome a significant challenge in nursing, or have insights that could inspire and help others, I'd love to feature you on Nursing Matters. This podcast is at its best when it amplifies the real voices and experiences of nurses like you. So if you have a story to share, whether it's about finding your specialty, becoming a leader, returning to nursing after a break, or anything in between, send me a message on LinkedIn or email me at info@rnnet.org. Let's get your story out there and help other nurses learn from your journey. But now we're officially into a brand new year, and that means fresh opportunities, new goals, and the chance to intentionally shape where your nursing career goes next. Today's episode is all about building your career trajectory in 2026, and I've got actionable strategies for new grads, staff nurses, and nurse leaders alike. Before we dive in, let's cover some important nursing news you need to know about. Let's jump into what's happening in healthcare right now that impacts your career. First up, New York City nurses are making headlines, and rightfully so. On January 2nd, nurses at 12 private sector hospitals delivered 10-day strike notices, which means up to 20,000 nurses could walk out on January 12th if fair contracts aren't reached. We're talking New York Presbyterian, Montefiore, Mount Sinai, Bronx Care. These are major hospitals. And this could become the biggest nurse strike in New York history. So what exactly is this all about? Nurses are fighting to protect safe staffing standards they fought for and won 3 years ago. They want guaranteed health benefits for frontline workers, which, let's be honest, shouldn't even be up for debate. And they're demanding protections from workplace violence, especially after an active shooter incident at Mount Sinai Hospital back in November. Also, nurses at 3 Northwell Health hospitals on Long Island have also voted to authorize strikes. Here's what kind of gets me. This is all happening during one of the worst flu surges in recent years, and nurses say hospital management is dragging their feet, despite having significant cash reserves. The Greater New York Hospital Association claims hospitals will spend nearly $100 million per week on temporary traveler nurses if strikes proceed. Let's say that again, $100 million per week. That's crazy. And it's money that could have gone towards, actually settling fair contracts with the nurses who already work there and know their patients. Just saying. This situation is a powerful reminder that collective action matters. These nurses aren't walking out on a whim. They're protecting both their ability to do their job safely and the quality of care their patients receive. We'll be watching this closely and keep you posted. Next story, and this one's a tough pill to swallow. On December 2nd, CMS officially repealed the minimum staffing requirements for nursing homes. Let me break down exactly what that means. The 2024 rule would have required nursing homes to provide a minimum of 3.48 hours of nursing care per resident day, including specific requirements for RN and nurse aide hours. Most importantly, it mandated 24/7 on-site RN coverage. That's now gone. CMS rolled it back to requiring only 8 consecutive hours of RN coverage daily. The agency says the rule disproportionately burdened facilities, especially those serving rural and tribal communities. But consumer advocacy groups are not having it. They argue this removes critical protections for nursing home residents at a time when facilities are caring for increasingly sick and complex patients. For those of you working in long-term care, I don't need to tell you what this could mean for your working conditions and the quality of care you're able to provide. It's a stark example of how political changes directly affect nursing practice and patient safety. Keep your eyes on how this plays out in your state because some states may step in with their own requirements. All right, story 3 is going to make you scratch your head. The Department of Education, under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, is proposing to classify graduate nursing degrees as non-professional programs. Yes, you heard that right, non-professional. Here's what that means in dollars and cents. Nursing students pursuing advanced degrees, such as nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist, doctoral programs, would be capped at borrowing just $20,500 per year and $100,000 total. Meanwhile, medical students pursuing a professional, air quotes, degree can borrow up to $50,000 annually. On December 12th, 140 bipartisan lawmakers from both parties sent a letter to the Department of Education saying, "Hold up, this doesn't make sense." But as of now, that classification still stands. Jennifer Menzik Kennedy, president of the ANA, is warning this could have devastating consequences. The average cost of attendance for nursing graduate students is over $30,000 per year. Do the math, it does not work. And this comes on top of the elimination of all Title VIII federal funding for nursing education. If you're considering advancing your education, or if you're a nurse educator worried about the pipeline, this issue really matters a lot, because if future nurses can't afford to become nurse practitioners or CRNAs, guess who suffers? Absolutely everyone. Patients lose access to care, especially in underserved areas. Okay, let's shift to some actually good news for a second. According to Monster's 2025 Healthcare Market Report, nursing roles are absolutely dominating national hiring trends. RNs, LPNs, CNAs, NPs, all ranking amongst the most in-demand positions heading into 2026. The report shows that hospitals hired approximately 385,000 RNs in 2024 just to backfill positions and grow staffing. For CNAs, facilities are basically replacing their entire staff every 3 years. Now, that turnover creates real challenges for healthcare systems, but here's the flip side. It creates significant leverage for you. And demand isn't just in hospitals anymore. We're seeing strong job growth across outpatient clinics, long-term care, rehabilitation facilities, and telehealth. More settings, more opportunities. So what does this mean for you? Simple, really. Employers are competing for talent right now. You have leverage to negotiate better compensation, sign-on bonuses, improved benefits, and flexible schedules. This is your moment. Use it strategically. Last news story for today, and this one has serious long-term implications. Congress is moving forward with potential massive cuts to Medicaid funding. We're talking over $1 trillion over the next decade. Early estimates suggest this could result in the loss of 477,000 healthcare jobs. Why does this matter to you? Medicaid accounts for 19% of hospital revenues and is the primary payer for long-term care services. These cuts would hit rural and underserved communities the hardest, potentially leading to facility closures and forcing remaining facilities to cut critical services. For nurses, this translates to potential job losses, reduced hours, and increased workloads as facilities struggle with decreased funding. It's not hypothetical, it's a very real threat to the healthcare infrastructure. The ANA is actively working with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to protect Medicaid funding. This is an advocacy issue where your voice really does matter. Contact your representatives. Share how Medicaid cuts would impact your patients and your practice. Make it real for them. All right, that's your nursing news snapshot for early 2026. As you can see, we're navigating some serious challenges, but also some real opportunities. The key is staying informed and staying engaged. Now, let's get into how you can build your career trajectory despite those headwinds. I want to tell you about the RN Network, the professional nursing community that actually works for you. We're not just another online group, we're a thriving community of over 200,000 nursing professionals who are serious about career growth, professional development, and supporting each other. Whether you're looking for nursing career resources, networking opportunities, mentorship, or tools to advance your nursing career, the RN Network has you covered. Visit rnnet.org, where you can subscribe as a free or premium member and gain access to career tools, resources, and so much more. Go to rnnet.org, that's rnnet.org, to sign up today. All right, guys, let's get into the heart of today's episode, building your career trajectory in 2026. Here's what I know after 20 plus years in healthcare talent acquisition and leadership. Your career doesn't just happen to you. You build it intentionally, brick by brick, choice by choice. And the beginning of a new year is the perfect time to get strategic about where you're going. I'm going to break down this whole career stage because let's be real, what works for a new grad is completely different from what a seasoned staff nurse needs, which is also very different from what nurse leaders should focus on this year. But here's the beautiful part. No matter where you are in your career, growth is possible. So let's dive in. Let's start with our newest members of the profession. If you graduated in the last year or you're about to graduate, welcome to nursing. Your first nursing job really matters. I'm not saying it defines your entire career, but it absolutely sets your trajectory. So don't just take the first offer that lands in your inbox. Start by evaluating the quality of the residency program. Does this organization have a structured new grad program with dedicated preceptors? Consider the length of the orientation. How much time do you have to get ramped up? Are there mentorship opportunities? A solid residency program can mean the difference between thriving and barely surviving your first year. Trust me on this, I have seen it. Next, you want to consider the learning environment. You want a facility that actually invests in education, has manageable patient ratios, and fosters a supportive culture. During your interview, talk to current nurses. Ask them directly, what do you wish you knew before you started here? Their answers will tell you everything you need to know. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Think about your long-term goals even now. If you eventually want to work in critical care, starting in a step-down unit or emergency department gives you a stronger foundation than beginning in an outpatient clinic. Also, I hear a lot of new grads who basically turn their nose up to med-surg nursing, and I really want them to rethink that. Med-surg provides the fundamentals of nursing and makes you a great nurse to transition to other departments. Now, there really is no wrong choice here, but you need to be intentional about your choices. I see a lot of new grads really eager to specialize immediately, and I get it. You want to find that niche. You want to feel like an expert. But here's my advice. Spend your first 12 to 18 months becoming an excellent fundamental nurse. If you do that first, it sets you up for success. Focus on mastering medication administration, time management, patient assessment, critical thinking, and communication. These skills transfer everywhere, and they're at the foundation of everything else in nursing. So, just a practical tip for you, create a personal skills checklist. Each month, identify 3 clinical skills you want to strengthen. Maybe it's IV insertion, wound care, or cardiac monitoring. Then actively seek opportunities to practice those skills. Tell your charge nurse, I need more experience with central line dressing changes. Can you assign me to those patients? Most charge nurses will appreciate your initiative. Also, document your learning. Keep a professional journal noting challenging cases, what you learned, and how you grew. This isn't just touchy-feely reflection. This is evidence of your development that you can reference in performance reviews or future job interviews. Now let's talk about networking. Networking is not just for experienced nurses with fancy titles. You need to start this now. Join professional organizations, whether it's the ANA, the Emergency Nurses Association, or a specialty organization relevant to your unit. Get involved. Attend local chapter meetings. These connections become invaluable for career advice, job opportunities, and professional support down the road. I also recommend finding a mentor within your organization. Identify a nurse whose practice you admire and ask if they'd be willing to mentor you. Most experienced nurses are honored by this request, and a mentor can provide guidance, advocacy, and perspective that accelerates your growth. And of course, get on LinkedIn, join the RN network, build your professional online presence early. Share what you're learning, engage with nursing content, and connect with other professionals. Your next opportunity often comes from your network, not from a job board. So, next item, I want you to write this down. Invest in certification early. I know. You just passed the NCLEX. The last thing you want to think about is another exam. But hear me out on this one. Pursuing specialty certification after 12 to 18 months in your area demonstrates commitment and competency. It also typically comes with a pay increase, which never hurts at all. Critical care nurses might pursue CCRN, emergency nurses might work towards CEN, med-surg nurses might have the RNBC option. Research what certifications align with your career path, create a timeline, and start studying. Your future you will thank you. Now, I think one of the most understated things in nursing is developing emotional resilience. Let's get real for a second. Your first year of nursing is going to be hard, like really hard. You have shifts where you'll question everything, whether you wonder if you made the right career choice, and you may even cry in your car before driving home. Building resilience isn't some soft skill you can ignore. It's essential to surviving and thriving in this profession. Find healthy coping mechanisms now. Exercise, therapy, hobbies outside of healthcare, whatever helps you process the emotional weight of this work. Connect with other new grads who understand what you're experiencing. You need people who get it. And practice self-compassion. You're learning one of the most complex jobs that exists. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to feel overwhelmed. It's all normal. Give yourself grace, learn from each experience, and keep moving forward. Now let's talk to the backbone of healthcare, our experienced staff nurses. Whether you've been practicing for 3 years or 20, these strategies will help you make your career and take it to the next level. Yes, you absolutely can still level up no matter how long you've been in the business. So first things first, when was the last time you really evaluated where you are and where you want to go? I'm not talking about a passing thought while you were restocking the supply room. I mean deep, honest assessment. So here's what I want you to do. Set aside time this month, actually put that on your calendar, and ask yourself these questions. Number 1, am I still passionate about my current specialty? Or am I staying because it's comfortable and I know the routine? Number 2, what aspects of nursing energize me and what completely drains me? Number 3, where do I want to be in 3 years, 5 years? Number 4, what's actually stopping me from pursuing this path? So, hopefully you wrote down those questions. Now, when you do this exercise, I want you to write down your answers. Don't just think about them, write them down. Seeing it in writing makes it real and actionable. And sometimes you'll surprise yourself with what comes out. Now, if you've been in the same role for several years without additional credentialing, this is your year to change that. Specialty certification demonstrates expertise and commitment, and it opens doors you didn't even know existed. But here's what I want you to think about in a bigger way. Go beyond the basics. Consider certifications in emerging areas like sepsis management, clinical informatics, quality and patient safety, wound care specialty, or diabetes education. These niche certifications can seriously differentiate you and create opportunities you wouldn't have had otherwise. And if advanced practice has been calling your name, maybe it's time to actually answer that call. Explore becoming a nurse practitioner, clinical nurse specialist, nurse anesthetist, or nurse midwife. Yes, it does require significant investment, time, money, and energy, but it dramatically expands your career options and earning potential. It's something to think about, and it's really important. So here's a secret. You don't need a management title to be a leader. In fact, developing leadership skills as a staff nurse makes you way more attractive as a candidate when you do want to move into formal leadership. So how do you do this? Well, let's think about it. You volunteer for unit-based committees, join your shared governance council, quality improvement team, or education committee. Take on charge nurse responsibilities when they're available. Mentor new staff and students. Teaching others solidifies your own knowledge and demonstrates leadership capability. And pursue leadership development programs. Many organizations offer internal leadership academies, so take advantage of them. If your organization doesn't offer these, look for external options through professional organizations or local universities. Invest in yourself, and oftentimes your employer, if they don't offer it internally, will invest in you. So here's something most nurses don't realize, and I wish someone had told me this earlier in my own career so I could have counseled nurses on this. Almost everything is negotiable. Your base pay might be locked in a rigid union scale or a hospital pay grid. Okay, fine. But there are other levers you can pull. When you have your performance review or when you're considering a new position, negotiate beyond salary. Think about shift differentials, additional PTO, tuition reimbursement, certification pay, flexible scheduling, professional development budgets. All of these things have value. Can you imagine the value of just having a flexible schedule that works around your kids so you don't have to leverage daycare as much? Here's the key though. Know your market value first. Research what nurses with your experience and certifications earn in your region. Use websites like Glassdoor, Salary.com, and nursing-specific salary surveys. When you know the data, you can advocate for yourself with confidence instead of just hoping for the best. And practice your negotiation conversation. Seriously, I'm not joking, role play with a trusted colleague or mentor. It feels really awkward, but confidence comes from preparation. If you don't have a colleague or partner you feel comfortable with, use the good old mirror. And remember, the worst thing they can say to you is no. You'll never get what you don't ask for, so ask. Now, in 2026, your reputation extends way beyond your unit. Building a professional brand opens opportunities that you can't even imagine yet. Start by establishing your online professional presence. Update your LinkedIn profile with your accomplishments, certifications, and professional interests. Engage with content relevant to your specialty. Share insights from your practice experience, not patient information, of course, but general trends and lessons learned from your work. Consider content creation. Write articles for nursing publications. Start a nursing-focused blog or create educational content on social media. You have valuable knowledge that came from real experience, so share it. This positions you as a thought leader in your specialty, and you have real value. Another item, attend conferences. Better yet, present at them. Start local, then expand. Submitting a poster presentation at your regional nursing conference is way less intimidating than you think, and it adds significant credibility to your professional profile. So let's talk about something nurses at your level don't discuss nearly enough, and that's financial security and diversification. You're a full-time you're in a full-time position, but it shouldn't really be your only income source. And here's why. It gives you options and freedom. Consider per diem work in your specialty. Look into legal nurse consulting. Explore health coaching or wellness consulting. Check out telehealth opportunities that you can do from home on your own schedule. Think about teaching adjunct at a local nursing program or creating online nursing education courses. Diversifying your income does two things. It increases your financial security, obviously, but it also expands your professional skills and network. Plus, and this is huge, it gives you leverage. If you're not entirely dependent on one employer for your entire income, you have way more freedom in your career decisions, and that's power. Let's take a quick break before we dive into leadership strategies. Are you still using job boards and spending hours filling out online applications to land your next nursing role? It's time to bring your job search strategy into 2026 and make the process more human. The RN Network Talent Exchange is a smarter way to explore career opportunities through real conversations on your terms. We connect registered nurses with healthcare employers through brief, structured conversations. No pressure, no commitment, just meaningful dialogue about what matters to you. Think of it as career exploration that respects your time and your autonomy. Stop filling out multiple applications online. Start networking with hiring decision makers to advance your career. This is not traditional recruiting. Healthcare companies don't pay us per hire. Nurses aren't pressured into commitments they're not ready for. Instead, we facilitate introductions, and what happens next is entirely up to you. For details, visit rnnet.org and click on Talent Exchange. That's rnnet.org. Again, rnnet.org. All right, guys, let's talk to our nurse leaders. I'm talking managers, directors, CNOs, and those of you aspiring to leadership roles. Your role is uniquely challenging and uniquely impactful, and honestly, you don't get nearly enough credit for what you do. Here's how to evaluate your leadership in 2026. So I want you to shift from managing to leading. It's a mindset, really. There's a critical difference between the two, and I need you to really sit with this for a second. Management is about processes, systems, and efficiencies. Leadership is about people, vision, and transformation. You need both skills, absolutely, but true impact comes from leadership. So evaluate where you're actually spending your time. Are you drowning in administrative tasks and firefighting daily crises? If so, you're managing, not leading. And I get it. Someone has to put out the fires. But if that's all you're doing, you're not creating the impact you're capable of. Delegate more operational tasks to capable staff. Develop your team's competencies so they can handle routine decisions independently. Yes, this takes time up front, but it frees you to actually lead. And create space for strategic thinking. Block time on your calendar. I'm talking actual protected, non-negotiable blocked time for big picture planning, relationship building with your team, and your own professional development. If you're always in reaction mode, you can't lead effectively, period. Now, I want you to invest heavily in your leadership development. The healthcare landscape is changing at warp speed right now. Your leadership skills need to evolve accordingly, or you know what's going to happen. You're going to be left behind. Pursue formal leadership education if you haven't already. Consider an MBA, MHA, or DNP with a leadership focus. Look into executive leadership programs offered by universities or healthcare organizations. These programs provide frameworks for strategic decision-making and financial management that nursing education often doesn't cover. And guess what? You need to find an executive coach. This isn't a luxury or an indulgence. It's a strategic investment in your leadership capacity. A skilled coach helps you identify blind spots, develop emotional intelligence, and navigate complex organizational dynamics. The ROI is huge and measurable. Also, read voraciously outside of healthcare. Leadership principles from business, technology, and other industries often translate powerfully into healthcare settings. Expand your perspective beyond clinical literature. You'll be amazed at what you learn. I want you to also build a reputation beyond your organization. Your influence shouldn't stop at your organization's four walls. Regional and national visibility creates opportunities and amplifies your impact exponentially. Join professional organizations at the leadership level, and don't just join, actively participate. Volunteer for board positions or committee chair roles. These positions connect you with other leaders and keep you informed about industry trends before they hit your organization. Publish thought leadership content. Write articles for healthcare leadership journals. Contribute to industry publications. Maintain a personal blog. Share your insights on solving workforce challenges, improving patient outcomes, or leading organizational change. Your experience has value to other leaders. Don't keep that to yourself. And of course, speak at conferences and industry events. Submit proposals to present at state and national conferences. Your experience managing complex challenges in real world settings is valuable to others who are facing similar issues. Share what you've learned. I also want you to master data-driven decision making. In 2026, nurse leaders who can't speak the language of metrics and analytics are going to struggle. Healthcare is increasingly data-driven, and you need to be fluent in that language. Develop your analytical skills intentionally. Take courses in healthcare analytics, quality metrics, or financial management. Learn to interpret dashboards, identify trends, and use data to tell a compelling story about your department's performance. And here's the really important part. Connect clinical outcomes to financial impact. Understand how nursing interventions affect length of stay, readmission rates, patient satisfaction, and ultimately your organization's financial health. When you can articulate this connection clearly to your C-suite, you gain credibility and influence. You become a strategic partner, not just a department head. Implement meaningful metrics for your team too. Move beyond basic KPIs to measures that actually reflect quality and staff engagement. Share these metrics transparently with your team and involve them in improvement initiatives. Data shouldn't be something you hold close. It should be something you use to engage and empower your team. You're also going to start prioritizing staff retention and development. Now, I know this is probably already on your radar, but your success as a leader is directly tied to your team's success. The organizations winning in 2026 are those that create environments where nurses actually want to stay and grow, not just survive, but thrive. Conduct stay interviews, not just exit interviews. Regularly ask your high performers, what keeps you here? What would make you leave? What do you need from me as a leader? And then, this is crucial, actually act on what you learn. Don't just collect feedback and let it sit in a notebook somewhere. Create clear career pathways for your staff. Nurses leave when they don't see growth opportunities, and it's that simple. Develop clinical ladders, leadership tracks, and specialty development paths. Help your team envision their future within your organization and not outside of it. Also, invest in your team's professional development with actual budget dollars. Certifications, conference attendance, continuing education, these things cost money, absolutely. But when you invest in your staff, they invest back in your organization. It's not an expense, it's an investment with returns. You're also going to start leading with authentic humanity. Your staff doesn't need a perfect leader, they need a real one. Be vulnerable about your own challenges and mistakes. When you show humanity, your team feels safe in doing the same. Admit when you don't have the answers. Demonstrate that learning and growth are ongoing at every level, including yours. Prioritize connection over perfection. Regular rounding, genuine conversations, and visible presence matter more than perfectly crafted emails or polished presentations. Your staff needs to know you see them, you value them, and you genuinely care about their well-being and not just their productivity. And model work-life integration. This is huge. If you're sending emails at midnight and working every weekend, you're giving your team permission and honestly pressure to do the same. Set boundaries. Take your vacation. Demonstrate that sustainable practice is actually possible in this organization. Lead by example. When you support the Nursing Matters podcast, we're able to continue bringing you powerful content to build a better career. Please do me a favor and subscribe to help us continue building momentum in 2026. Thank you for being here. Today's episode is sponsored by FIGS, the premium scrubs brand that's revolutionizing what healthcare professionals wear to work. FIGS scrubs are ridiculously soft, incredibly comfortable, and designed with technical fabric that's antimicrobial, moisture wicking, and breathable. Whether you're running between patient rooms, bending down for wound care, or reaching overhead to adjust equipment, FIGS moves with you. The thoughtful design includes multiple pockets exactly where you need them, flattering fits that actually look professional, and durability that survives countless washes without fading or pilling. When you feel good in what you're wearing, it shows up in how you care for your patients. Check out FIGS and experience the difference. Visit figs.rnnet.org. Again, that's figs.rnnet.org to find and explore their collection and find your new favorite scrubs. All right, let's bring this home. We've covered a lot of ground today, from nursing news that's actively shaping our profession to comprehensive strategies for building your career trajectory in 2026. Whether you're a new grad finding your footing, a staff nurse ready to level up, or a leader expanding your influence. Here's what I want you to take away from this episode. Your career is yours to shape, not your manager's, not your organization. Yours. Every decision you make, every skill you develop, every relationship you build is a brick in the foundation of your professional future. So here's my challenge to you. Take what resonated with you from today's episode and turn it into action. Don't wait for another perfect moment or the perfect plan because they simply don't exist. Pick one thing, just one, and start this week. Schedule that career assessment conversation with yourself. Research that certification you've been considering for months. Reach out to the potential mentor whose work you admire. Submit that conference proposal that's been sitting in your drafts. Whatever it is, just start. The momentum you build from one small action creates energy for the next one. Trust me on that. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. The RN Network community is here to support you every step of the way. Whether you need resources, connections, advice, or just encouragement from nurses who genuinely understand what you're going through, we've got you. If today's episode resonated with you, please take a moment to subscribe to Nursing Matters wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a rating and review. It genuinely helps other nurses discover this content, and I read every single one. And share this episode with your nursing colleagues. Maybe there's a new grad on your unit who needs to hear the career advice we discussed today, or a fellow staff nurse who's feeling stuck in their career, or a leader who could use some encouragement. Pass it along. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Christina Archer or visit rnnet.org to join our community and access resources, networking opportunities, and so much more. Thank you for investing this time in your professional growth. Thank you for the work you do every single day caring for patients and families, often under incredibly challenging circumstances. And thank you for being a part of this community. You make it what it is. Until next time, this is Christina reminding you that your career matters, your growth matters, and you matter. Keep leading, keep learning, and keep making a difference.